Back here from the Star in Frisco, and it's time to go more in-depth with the Dallas Cowboys as we enter Week 15 of the NFL season. No better person to do that with than Cowboys COO Stephen Jones. And Stephen, first off, thanks for joining us again. And you have to be a pretty happy person. 9 wins, just the 4 losses. You got a chance for double-digit wins, but the reason why is because you've had a couple on the road the last couple weeks.
Well, these were big wins, and I know some people say we could have had better style points, but it's so hard to win in this league. And, you know, they pay their players too, and to go on the road like that, as you said, in tough environments, come away with big wins is a big deal. And, you know, at the end of the day, the defense is really coming into its own. We're getting healthy on that side of the ball. You know, getting guys like Randy Gregory back, DeMarcus Lawrence, Neville Gallimore, are some big get-backs for us. And at the same time, I know, you know, although we're not totally hitting on all cylinders on offense, if ever I was going to bet on a crew, it'd be Dak and his group of offensive guys. And, you know, everybody wants to point to this guy or that guy. At the end of the day, having a good offense is about all 11 working together. And it's impossible to say, hey, it's all on this guy or that guy. We've just got to work better as a unit, and I think that'll come together as well. But it's certainly big to be where we are at 9-4, you know, 3 games in front of the pack, if you will, with 4 to play. But, you know, we got our eyes on bigger things in terms of just winning the East. We've got work to do to win the East, but at the same time, we all know what it could mean if we could finish strong here and, you know, 1 win at a time, get them, and see where it takes us.
Now, you mentioned the style points early on, and I mean, maybe not on the offensive side, and we'll talk about that in a moment, but the defense certainly has had some style points over the last few weeks. What is the ceiling when you look at getting those guys back? Randy Gregory, Neville Gallimore, and this slew of defenders, especially on the front 7 when you move into the final month of the season? Well,
at one point, I know Dan Quinn and Aiden and Mike and McCarthy and I were on the sideline, and we looked over there at who was on IR, DTR, and it was pretty much when we started training camp who we thought would start in the defensive line, and they weren't playing, which in the meantime gave the group behind them great opportunities, whether it's an Osa, whether it's a Golston, whether it's a Marcus Armstrong, a Basham, to really go in there and play well, which they did. They stepped up and did well, but to have these guys back and to have them really starting to play well together, they're fresh. The training staff did a great job of getting them ready to play. You couple that with guys like Micah Parsons and Leighton Vander Esch, and then, of course, the play of the back end with guys like Diggs and Brown, and then you got Hooker and Kazee, and we don't have Dono totally back yet either, so we still got him to come. But this defense is coming into its own, and hats off to Mike for getting Dan Quinn in here. He's done a great job of really completely, in my mind, turning this defense around. And, you know, I think the sky's the limit. They're going to keep getting better as a group, and certainly I think they can really be a dominant type defense if we move forward, if they continue to improve. We've still got work to do, but certainly believe that this group can really not only just hang in there, but help us win football games like they have the past 2 weeks.
Now, when you were getting these guys back, DeMarcus Lawrence, Randy Gregory, Neville Gallimore, over the last 2 games, did you expect them to have the immediate impact that they ultimately did on the ball game? All 3 of them having at least a sack or a pressure or both, maybe even a couple turnovers in there. Did you expect them to have that much of a role that quickly?
Well, you certainly hope so. I mean, that's why you have a salary cap, and that's why you pay some more than others. I mean, obviously, DeMarcus Lawrence is the highest paid guy on our team. Certainly the expectations were there for Randy Gregory coming into this year. Neville Gallimore was expected to be our starting under tackle, you know, have a 3rd-round pick invested in him. Then you got guys like Tristan Hill and Osa, and you do expect those guys to step up and make plays. But I don't know if you can say someone like Micah that you expected him to, as a rookie, to be putting up the production that he's doing right now, whether it's sacks, whether it's tackles for losses, whether it's plays in coverage. I mean, he's all over the place. He's digesting all the different roles that Dan's asking him to do, which in turn makes it very difficult on a quarterback when he breaks the huddle to know exactly, even if you find number 11, what's he going to do? Is he coming? Is he blitzing? Is he dropping? Is he going sideline to sideline as a spy? There's so many different things that he's able to do that I know has to give, opposing coordinators, opposing quarterbacks a challenge when they go to the line of scrimmage.
Now, you've been around this game for quite some time. You've seen a lot of great players over your years. So where does Micah Parsons rank in terms of the young defenders that you've gotten a chance to look at either on your team or even around the league as they get into their rookie season and work their way along?
Well, when you talk about multiple in our game, it's usually a big positive, and he brings multiple skill sets to the table. You want to go to DeMarcus Ware, obviously one of the great draft picks here with the Cowboys, certainly going to be, in my mind, a first ballot Hall of Famer. But he was, at the end of the day, he was an edge rusher 99% of the time. And not only can Micah do that, and maybe to the, to the level that D. Ware did it, but he's also doing the other things, which we mentioned, which is line up at Mike linebacker and go sideline to sideline blitz or drop in coverage or play that edge spot. So I don't know that I can think of people. I mean, obviously, I don't want to do that to Micah, but I've heard other reporters say that he's starting to remind him of a guy, Lawrence Taylor, from many moons ago. And that was before my time. If Bill Parcells was here, he certainly could make that comparison because he coached him, but it was before my day. But what a compliment when I hear Micah being mentioned with guys like Lawrence Taylor is certainly special. But obviously one of the great rushers we had here who he reminds me of coming in as a rookie is DeMarcus Ware.
Man, there's so many compliments being thrown around about Micah Parsons and his versatility even as a rookie. It's very exciting. Now, speaking on the offensive side of the football, what has been your thought process over these last couple of weeks when looking at the offense and kind of evaluating the way that they've played, let's say, for the last month?
I think it's just all about getting some continuity and some consistency. I mean, we've obviously had receivers in and out of the lineup, whether it's COVID, whether it's an injury. Certainly Amari Cooper missed a couple of games and he's battled the hamstring a little. Certainly a guy like Gallup has battled, he was on the IR DTR for, 7-8 weeks and, he was out of the lineup. So there's some continuity there that you want to continue to get as you move forward. Certainly their skill sets unquestioned, but working together with Dak I think is important. And then, getting the offensive line group really, playing in unison and having the continuity to work together so that they've got confidence in what each other's doing, whether it's the run game, whether it's pass protection. I just think that's what we're missing right now, and I think it's certainly something that we can get together and get working. And I know if there's anybody in this building who's going to push to make that happen, it's number 4. And, he's just built for action. He's the ultra competitor. He's the ultra leader. The group troops are going to follow him. I mean, I thought it was great to see Zeke and Lyle coming in there, taking up for him. Obviously, you got to be careful with those things because you don't want to have a penalty that could ultimately maybe cost you an opportunity to win a football game. But at the same time, I'm all in for players that are there to protect their leader, their quarterback, and certainly that's what they were doing. Maybe a little bit much because you don't want to get the yellow flags, but I certainly understand it.
That's a fine line you got to walk from a player standpoint. You got to protect your guys, but you don't want to get penalized for it. Now, going back to the continuity that you mentioned, especially on that offensive line, with no Tyron Smith this week and then his status moving forward, what do you expect that offensive line to look like? Is he the only switch on the left tackle spot, or do you see maybe a couple of different moves as the season goes along?
Well, as our guys work through the week, they'll get that, they'll get the best group out there that they feel like is the group that we need to really start grooming down the home stretch. I know they've talked about it, that we've really got to really start to focus in and get that group of guys. We're fortunate in that we have, 8, 9 guys that can step up and play winning football for us. But I do think the group of 5 got to start working together. It's unfortunate that Tyron's going to have to miss a game or 2, but in the meantime, it's very fortunate that we got guys like Lyle Collins and Terrence Steele and even a Nasecki to step up and do what we need him to do. But feel good about it, feel like these guys will step up and do their job, and know there's urgency with our staff. I know Coach McCarthy's all over it. I mean, that's his background, his offense, called plays in championship games, Super Bowls, won championships, won Super Bowls. So feel good that he'll get in there with Kellen and our group and really get this offense doing what we needed to do the things that we feel like we can do as a football team this year.
Now, we've had this conversation dating all the way back to training camp and in the preseason about the 8 and 9 guys deep on that offensive line, and I feel like your depth from that front 5 has been tested at different points this year. Do you feel better about this offensive line than you have maybe in years past about the way they can hold up when those challenges come along?
Absolutely. I just think it's getting them to continue to work together, know what each other's going to do, understand what we're trying to get accomplished, which they're doing. But I do feel as good as I've ever felt about a group of guys who have the skill sets to go out there and perform week in and week out. Certainly, you don't have to look much further than last year to see the things that we had going on and the struggles we had, and to see this year that we can miss a player, we miss 2 players, and really step up and still play really good football. So I feel good about it. It's just I know Kellen and Coach McCarthy and Nussmeier and Coach Philbin are going to get this thing rolling, and feel good that we can make this happen.
What are your thoughts on the health of your backfield with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard? Any updates on those guys?
Certainly Zeke finished the game the other day, and he's another one who's just a super competitor. This time of year there's a lot of players in the NFL who aren't 100%, and he's one of those guys, regardless of where he is health-wise, he wants to go out there and compete. And he'll do a great job for us, and feel good that he'll be ready to go against the Giants. Certainly Clements stepped up and did a nice job for us the other day, but not having Pollard out there, you can feel it, but when he is out there, you feel him, and certainly we hope he has an opportunity to play against the Giants.
Up by 3 games with 4 games to play. Pretty good spot for the Dallas Cowboys to be in at 9-4. Cowboys COO Stephen Jones joining us here from the Globe Life Studios at the Star in Frisco. Stephen, thanks so much.
Always great to be on. Thanks, guys.